down. And the bell goes upward. And that's one reason why we're able to pull this off and to balance the tone. Also, Patrick is playing what's called a 3/4 size tuba, meaning it's wound a little more tightly, and that keeps the sound not muted, but just more friendly to play with the flute. So we made that decision early on, over 30 years ago, that this would be the combo of instruments we would play. So Patrick gave up his mighty marathon and sacrificed himself to a more compact tuba in order to play with me. So all of that said, on to the important stuff. John Philip Sousa, a name you all know very well, I'm sure. This particular year we're taking you to is 1893. You may recall that that is when the World's Fair was in Chicago. And so everyone who was anyone was there. And Sousa certainly was very much someone by then. He'd already had his career in musical theater and then with the Marine Band, and had begun his own band, which would travel worldwide. So he and his band were at the World's Fair, and performing, of course. And there was a lot going on. It was the 100th anniversary of the Liberty Bell, in fact. So when he was told by his manager that his most recent opera, one he was working on that was to be called The Devil's Deputy, that the financing fell through and was not going to happen at that moment. He said, Mr. Hinton, his manager, to Sousa, you know, John, if you have a march tucked away somewhere in that opera, I'm sure I can sell that. I can always sell your marches, quick and easy. So Sousa thought, and he said, well, yes, there's a march, but I don't have a title for it. And yes, the Liberty Bell March is what you're about to hear. And there was more than one reason for that. It being the 100th anniversary, that's reason enough, but coincidentally, Sousa's wife wrote to him during that time saying, hey, did you know that your son just marched in that 100th anniversary parade for the Liberty Bell? So it was destiny. If it's a march you're less familiar with, but it sounds familiar when you hear it, perhaps you're a closet fan of the somewhat irreverent comedy troupe Monty Python's Flying Circus. Thank you for joining us for The Art of Music. We leave you with Sousa's Liberty Bell March. easy way to exit, so. Let's go behind the curtain and get the tuba case.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. So thank you so much. Oh, you're very welcome.
Thank you. I never want to compliment you.
Well,
Beautiful.
thank you.
Such an engaging presentations too.
Another